Hi, and welcome to Kate's Paper Creations. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State, and I want to welcome you to my weekly YouTube video where I feature some of the most current products from Stampin' Up! The projects I share here feature current products and can range from very simple for a quick card to a more complex one for that time when you want something very special. I also sell the Stampin' Up! Products I use in this video. I hope you enjoy my free tutorial, and I'd love to have you shop with me. Check out my blog at www.katespapercreations.org for a link to my online store. This is the card we're going to make today. Very simple, actually, using the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. Get that up here so I can show you. It's the bundle. Here's the stamps that are included, and then these are the dies that come in the bundle. So we're going to use them today to make this card. I started with a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Whisper White thick that I scored at 4 1/4 and folded to make a top fold A2 greeting card. Then this paper here is Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper. It's a 6 by 6 paper pack that's in the new catalog, and I cut this piece 2 inches by 5.5 and just attached it to the front with snail. Next, I took a 3.5 by 3.5 piece of Whisper White, and I stamped this flower stamp onto that piece with Calypso Coral. Then I took Pumpkin Pie and Magenta Madness, and I used these blender pens to color in, and I started with Magenta Madness and I colored in just following the marks, the accent marks on the petals, and colored in all of those with the magenta. Then I switched ends and used the Pumpkin Pie and came in and colored right over the top of them. It softens the magenta just a little bit, yet it still shows through really well, and added the rest of the color, leaving some of the tips white just to add some more accent. This top piece is the detailed die that is in the set, this one right here. And for that, I cut it out of copper foil. When you cut out of the foil, you definitely want to shim your sandwich that you use in the Big Shot, because it has to cut through that plasticized backing that's on the foil, and you won't get a good cut if you don't shim. So I shimmed to do that. Then I used glue, just liquid glue, and put glue just on this part of the die and set it down and attached it. Now when you're attaching this to the background, there on this background are these 2 little hook-shaped petals, and they're kind of my guide that helps me get things lined up very quickly and easily, because they stand out different than all the other petals. And once you get it lined up, then you can just attach it in place. There's a center die in the set, and I cut that center piece out of just basic black cardstock, and I attached it to the center with liquid glue as well. Then for the leaves that I'm going to use on the card, I stamped them with Just Jade ink on some scrap Whisper White. Then I used a blender pen and I colored them in. So I've already punched those out, and I have those 4 right here that we can use to finish putting it together. And then the sentiment is the die from Tasteful Labels Dies, and this is the die I used, was this shape. So it cut out that shape, and I stamped the sentiment, which came from Peaceful Moments, Hugs, Prayers, Love. I just love that one, and I just stamped it with Tuxedo Black ink, and that's going to be the sentiment that we attach to the card. So let's get that base card back over here. And I attached this with dimensionals, and I just put some just around. It doesn't need a lot. It's fairly stiff by the time you make the layers, so it doesn't need a lot of dimensionals. I just put a few of them on there. Get that stuff out of the way. There we go. And there's not really a wrong way to put this on there. I just kind of decided where to put it. I liked that I didn't fasten down the petal part of this flower. I kind of actually, even with the foil, am able to bend it up just a little bit and I like it like that. Then for the leaves, I just put a tiny bit of adhesive on the back corners of those and tucked them in wherever I felt it looked good. And obviously you can choose for yourself where you place your leaves. I just have this thing about having 2 leaves like that. So that's what I did, and I just stuck them down flat in behind the flower. Just like that. I don't know that I ever do it twice the same. There's that. And then the sentiment, I just tucked it right up under here like this, and again, I just put it down with snail. Just like that, and I tucked the end right up under the flower. Make sure I get it straight before it sticks forever. Get it straight there, that looks good. And there's that card, all complete. Now I have this piece of that I had left over from from cutting this out, and I decided that it would be nice to have a piece on the inside. Just a little bit of color or design on the inside of a card just makes it look a little softer and more appealing. So, and I leave a little bit of an edge, so there's about 1/8 of an inch there, and I'll trim that off. Like that. And there's the inside of the card, so it has a little bit something on the inside. You can also take your extra piece of this and make an envelope flap cover if you chose to. I've done this before and you've seen me do it. Let me get an envelope, because it makes a complete set when you can do that. Is this going to be wide enough to do that? Not quite. So if I'd have saved it, but I didn't. So I'm not going to do that today. But there you go. There's the card we made for today. I am glad you enjoyed it.